to Pretty on a Plane with me, Pretty. So today I just thought with all the restrictions easing on travel, I want to speak about getting a UK visa as a South African. So I'll give you the how to, where to, what you need on this video. So let's get right into it. Okay, so with travel restrictions easing through the world and we're all getting ready to start exploring again, I just thought I would share a bit of information on how to get a UK travel visa. The thing is, when you go on the website, it doesn't really specify what information they're looking for when they're saying support. So I just thought, why not? Why not? Let me just share this with you guys. So first things first, when you go on the UK website, it says you need to determine whether you need a visa to begin with. This is a travel visa that is valid for 6 months, that is multi-entry, so you can go between whenever you get it. You can go into the UK in and out for 6 months, no restrictions, which is awesome. So yeah, it says you need to determine first whether you need a visa. But unfortunately, a couple of years ago, rules were changed, and as South Africans, we do need a visa. So you can promptly skip that step because you don't need to determine whether you need a visa. You do need it. So because you do need a visa, that step you can skip. The second step is determining what type of visa you need, right? So this all determines what your reason is for going to the UK. Are you just traveling? Are you passing through? Are you going to go work there? Are you finding a husband? Are you a wife or spouse? Doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing there, you need to determine what type of visa you wanted. In this instance, we're talking about a travel visa that is valid for 6 months, not the long-term one. And that's the second step. And then the third step is they ask you a lot of questions. They ask you about pretty much your entire travel history. So I would actually recommend having if you've had previous travel experience, I would recommend having your passport with you so that you can actually look at your dates of when you traveled and how long you were in the country, because they ask you literally for your entire travel history, which countries you've been to, when did you go, very specific about the dates and times. This was a bit difficult for me because, as I mentioned in the first video, I've been to 23 countries and I don't remember the specific of every single country that I've been to, how long I was there, when I went. I just know the years roughly. So I had to whip out the old passport and literally look through all the stamps when I went in and out. So I'd recommend you have this written out beforehand before you start going into the application. Okay, and then the next thing they ask you about is where are you going to be staying? So you need to have accommodation that is booked when you're going to the UK. So a little trick to this is websites such as Bookingcom actually allow you to have cancelable accommodation that is booked. You don't necessarily have to have made the final decision of whether that's where you're staying or not, but you can go on bookings.com, filter for cancelable accommodation, book that, and then use it for your visa application. This allows you to actually have an address that you can use for the UK as the place where you're going to be staying at. This does not necessarily mean that you are committing to the accommodation. It just means that you need to have it for where you are staying, unless of course you're staying with a friend or a loved one where they can actually give you their address as the one to use, right? So booking.com allows for that, right? And then once you have that ready, so the other question they ask you is, what is your budget? So before you go applying for your visa, you need to have your budget in mind. How much are you going to spend? This is flights, this is accommodation, this is spending money, this is food, this is whatnot that you will need when you're on holiday. So you need to have the amount of budget as what you're going to spend. So they're going to ask you for that. This I find a bit weird, but they are going to ask you for your mother's and father's names and dates of birth or birth date. That's strange. I found that a bit strange, but yeah, that's one of the things they ask you. So you must just be sure about your dates, middle names, last names, dates, and all that stuff with your parents. because they will ask you for that. And one thing that you must make sure you have. So when you get to the point of uploading information that they need, you're gonna either need your ID, smart ID card, or your green barcoded book, right? As a South African. So you're gonna need to upload that. But the one thing they ask for after that is asking for supporting information. So they ask for supporting information, but what they don't actually go into detail is what is the supporting information that they need, right? They just say proof of funds or proof of employment. That doesn't really specify what is needed. So what I have used is 3 months worth of payslips, 3 months payslips, or if you're self-employed, it will be 3 months management accounts that show solid, steady income that you're earning in your business, as well as financials that show that your business has been operational, is operational, that is. And a letter of employment is, if you're employed, also helps because then it shows that you're committed to the country where you are, South Africa, right? And also what you're going to need is 3 months bank statement. This is where your salary gets paid into, or whatever source of income that you have that is steady, that is coming into that bank account. That is the bank account you will use for the 3 months bank statement. The other thing that is very useful is finding, I remember I spoke about when I was speaking about funding, I spoke about having a savings account. So you need to make sure that that savings account has enough money to cover the budget that you spoke about initially, right? So the bank statement that you upload for your savings account has to be enough to cover your budget. So just make sure that you have enough saved up already at that point for you to upload on the website as enough for you to actually get to the visa, for it to be approved without any glitches. And the next thing then is to have proof of accommodation. So it's going to be proof of accommodation 2 types. One is the one where you've booked for the UK, where you're going to be staying. The second one is your proof of address in South Africa. They want to make sure that you're actually intending to come back to South Africa. You're not planning to go to the UK and being a bum. So they want you to come back to the country. So they want you to prove that you actually have a home in South Africa and you're going to have accommodation in the UK. And that is pretty much it. That's pretty much all you need. And once that is done, then you go through the process of clicking through and you have to pay for it. The visa roughly costs around 2,000 rands in 2022. It might be give or take around that depending on the pound conversion at that point, right? And once you've paid it, it takes you to the TLS website. This is the site where you have to now make a booking for your biometrics. So this is where you book to get your fingerprints taken, to get your photo taken. The whole application is already done. So at the end of it all, it's going to send you a checklist of what you need to bring with you when you're going in to your TLS appointment. And this will be your ID that you use to apply. So either your smart card or your green barcoded book, and your passport that you're going to use. Remember, your passport needs to be valid for longer than 6 months, or at least 6 months from when you're traveling. If your passport is expiring soon, like mine was when I was going to apply, I had to get a new passport. But if your passport is expiring soon, just make sure you do the passport situation before you get your visa. If you guys want me to speak about applying for a passport quicker than going to Home Affairs, let me know in the comments and I'll go into it. So yes, you need to take that with you. You need to take your ID, you need to take your passport that you're going to use, and you need to take that checklist because it has a specific barcode that is linked to your profile and to your application. And when you get to the TLS website, just a little tip. If you're in Johannesburg, the center is like in a little shopping center thing, right? If you're like me, you're gonna drive up and down Fredman Drive trying to find the center, and your GPS keeps saying you have reached your destination, and you're just like, sis, this is like the middle of like the banking places. Where is this place? But it's in a little center. You actually have to go into the center and park there or walk into the center. That's where it is. Anyway, back to the story, back to the tips. So once your appointment is booked, it's quite strict about time. African people do not get there at 10 past 10 if your appointment is at 10, because what they will do is that'll only delay your process. They will cancel the whole thing and you're gonna have to book another appointment. So yes, be on time. Actually be 10 minutes early, African people. Do not be on African time. Okay, so you have to be there on time. And when you get there, they do your whole fingerprints, they do your whole photo. You don't need to bring your own photo because they take it for you. So you don't need to bring your own photo. So they'll take it. Just make sure you look great for the pink. So yes, they'll do the photo for you. And they're very precise. They said to me, when I asked how long it will take, they said to me between 3 to 4 weeks. The usual time is 3 weeks, and literally on the day of week 3, I got an SMS. So the option you have is to have them courier it to you for an extra fee. I believe it's about 60 rands. I'm not sure about the exact amount. You get them to courier it to you for that amount, or you get an SMS where they tell you to go and pick it up. So I've chosen the option to have me picking it up. So literally on the day of week 3, I got a message to say your travel documents are ready. The weird thing is they don't say to you your visa has been approved. They just say to you your travel documents are ready. You kind of have to be like, is it approved? Is it not approved? What's the deal? But yes, so it takes 3 weeks. You go there. One thing you need to remember is to take a copy of your ID. Very important, because if you don't have a copy of your ID, they're going to turn you back. So you need a copy of your ID. You need that checklist that you had initially when you came in. Also, there's a document that they give you the first time when you do your biometrics that shows that you've uploaded everything online. You need to take that with you. So those are the 3 things that you need to take with. So yeah, it takes three weeks to get you a UK visa. There's a way of making it quicker, which you pay for, which I've never used before, so I don't really know how the process works. But I know when you go on the UK website, it kind of shows you lists what you need to do to get it quicker than the 3 weeks. But yes, remember, you need about 3 weeks. So if you're going to be traveling, give yourself a month for you to be able to apply and get your UK visa, so you can get visiting London, Scotland, Wales, and all the fun places in the UK. Anyway, thank you for joining Pretty on a Plane. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, click the bell, and talk to me in the comments. Talk to me about your visa application experience, be it a UK visa or any other visa. Talk to me in the comments and let me know what you'd like to hear, or tell me what more you'd like me to speak about. Thank you for joining Pretty on a Plane. Love it.